and welcome to my Virginia garden. This is a warning. If you don't like garden tours, scoot along, because I'm going to do my very first garden tour of the season. It is now the end of March, the very end of March, and I want to show you what's happening in my little nascent garden. It doesn't necessarily look like a lot's going on. There's a lot going on here, and we've actually been eating out of the garden already. I'll show you. Here we are in the lower garden, and pretty much there are lots and lots of things growing. What you see in the foreground, in the background there, are some arugula that wintered over, and some kale that I planted with a little Johnny jump up there. This is where I have loads of things planted already. Under the tent we have, which I just watered, that's why it's got dots on it, but I've got spinaches of different kinds and some really beautiful cabbages that I've been growing along, and some radishes, etc. And I have a few peas. I've been having problems growing peas this year for some reason. I've had real issues with something eating them, or something going on. Over here I have some little bunching onions that just got planted a few days ago, and some leeks, and today I planted some carrots underneath that cardboard. These three grow bags have leeks. These are King Zig leeks, which I have not grown before. The center is some carrots, some, let's see, atomic red and cosmic purple carrots. I like growing carrots in grow bags because, especially long-rooted ones like that. And over here, I cannot believe it, I just planted these about 2 weeks ago, and the very first purple potato is sprouting. So I think there's another one about to push up under here as well. So those got planted about, maybe 2 weeks ago, just before, around about the 14th or 13th or 14th of March. So they are coming along. And I have more leeks planted over in this grow bag. Outside the fence, you can see some garlic there that's been doing very nicely. Over under the arch here, I have wintered over, or some cilantro that just sprouted, and here's some dill that I grew from seed. And this is where I had trouble with peas. Literally something was eating them off. You can actually see, well, this one is actually coming out. Maybe I'll get lucky and it'll actually grow. I've replanted these a couple times, but whatever it is down there, it's been having its heyday with my peas. Recently, I just transplanted this chard, which will grow along, and eventually this will get planted up with melons and trumbosino squash for the summer. These are beautiful lettuces that overwintered, and we have already been eating off of those. This is the speckled bib. It's just a really, really pretty lettuce. And this one is called Crawford bib, and just really winters over beautifully. And we had a very, very cold winter here in central Virginia. Back here is the 1,000-head kale that was planted late last fall and has overwintered and then has its second growth spurt. You can see where I've been pulling off leaves and eating away on this, but it is getting ready to go to flower, I think. But I've got a couple new ones coming along back in here. Okay, the other problem I've been having, other than the problems with my pea plants, are the lemon balm, which is inheriting the earth. And I am having to dig this stuff up all over the place and just try to get it back to a dull roar. It's burst the garden. It's growing outside of the garden. It's growing feet away from where it was planted. So this lemon balm can stay if it behaves itself. I do love it, and the bees absolutely adore it. Let's see, what else do we have? Some dill, and here's some chamomile. This is German chamomile. These gladiolas I planted many years ago. There used to be a fence right here, and this was right on the edge of the fence. The garden has expanded a wee bit since that time. Now under the fabric there are beets, and I have them covered to keep the birds from getting them. And under this tunnel this is my big brassica bed this year, and it's got kale, it's got dazzling blue kale, and it's got some cauliflower plants here, and some DeCecco broccoli, and a poor wasp that has found its way in but probably can't find its way out. Let's see if I can help it out. All right, so over here we have the fava beans. Now, these were the ones that were planted indoors and transplanted out, which sprouted very quickly. And these were the ones that were planted straight outdoors and did not sprout quickly, but they are coming along. So that is very nice. I have never grown favas before. Now let's grow outside the garden and see what's happening. Well, this is the south side of my garden, which now has expanded even more. I just can't help myself. But yeah, we put in some blueberries, more blueberries yesterday. This side of the garden has a few things growing in it. Over here is a perennial bed, and there's some artichokes and lots of flowers. And look at all this lemon balm. I had to dig out piles of it, and I'm going to have to dig out more of it, I can just tell. Over here we have some onions that just got planted recently. And loads of Monarda that's spreading everywhere. And some glorious oregano. Oh my God, this smells so good. There's garlic, and I've got more onions planted down below. It does look like most of the lavender survived the cold winter, so that's really nice. Now, one thing that if you haven't been watching recently, you don't know, but if you have watched in the past, this is my blueberry patch, and beyond it, my blackberry canes. And what we have done is extended the mulch paths between these fruit rows because it just got too hard to take care of the grass when it was growing. And I think it invited some bug issues into some of my vining plants like pumpkins that were winding their way through here. So we already have 8 existing blueberries, and you can see that this guy is already starting to little flowers on it. The buds are coming out. And yesterday we planted 4 more. I say we, Sage really did most of the work on this. I'm really excited to get 4 more blueberry plants. That brings my total to 12. I think I can stop with that. This is the little experimental bed that I made last year and had potatoes in it. And this year I have some garlic, and then I've got some leeks planted back in the back there that are just starting off. I have planted some potatoes in this end, and I haven't worked on this end yet. This might need a little bit more time to settle. I did go ahead and planted some 2 artichokes, but I added in a whole bunch of compost and soil in there because this bed did not compost down as much as I wanted it to over the winter. It's getting there. It's getting closer, but it's still pretty wood chippy down there. So I'll just leave that. And if I plant anything else in here, I'll just put a layer of compost and soil in as well. But it'll be a nice bed eventually. So now we're looking over and around the whole garden. Little apple tree. This is a Williams Pride apple, and it is starting to bloom. It's got its blossoms on. The black twig has not quite yet blossomed out, but it's getting there. And the plum, it's starting to get some buds on it. So that's what's going on in this particular garden. Let's take a walk up to the kitchen garden, and you can take a look and see what's happening up there. Here I am behind my kitchen, and a couple of weeks ago I did some work on this bed. In previous years it had been covered over. This year I decided to really tackle some of the weed issues in here. Well, it wasn't too bad, it had just been kind of neglected. And I went ahead and I added some new things in here. I've got some perennials, some daisies, and some dill and some monarda that I've put in here. Here's the sorrel. It's ready to pick now. And these are the red acre cabbages that are coming along, except look, I believe that looks like a slug damage to me, or maybe a bird. Here is some self-planted cilantro coming along really nicely. And I actually have 4 artichoke plants back in here as well. Although somebody took a big old chomp out of this one. Take a look at that. Definitely got a chomp out. Up here are mainly flowers, perennials, and I have done a lot of weeding in there. I still have some more to do. And swinging around, my daffodils are starting to fade on this border. But this is the main garlic bed, and it is doing fantastically with a stray daffodil in there. Go figure. All right. So I do have some peonies that are starting to come up. I should have more popping up back here. Oh, yep, here comes the peonies. There it comes, see? Peeking through, right there. Good, this is my nicest one. Oh yeah, loads and loads of pops up here. Let's pull this weed out. Great. And here's another one. Wow, it's got a bud on it. And look at the ants on there already. I've got a couple more peonies back here. I should have a few more popping up. Maybe they're just later. Here's one. And here's another. This row of daffodils was so beautiful to look out from my kitchen window. And look at the beautiful trees way in the distance, the deciduous magnolias. So here is the little kitchen garden. It's not as tidy as it might be, but I have these are Chinese cabbages, and they are really going great. I grew those from seed. These are actually Merlot lettuce that have wintered over. And look at this lettuce. This is called swordleaf. I have never grown it before, and it's so very pretty. And this is the Simpson, I believe, and some oak leaf back there. So that arugula wintered over. We've been eating on that. And I've got a couple kale plants tucked in here, and I've got some radishes that are just starting to come up now. Over on the pea trellis, you will not see peas because I was having, I don't know whether I planted them. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm totally flummoxed by the whole thing. These are some tiny little, I had started these winter sown, and then they were small plants, and I just plopped them in, and they are taking hold and growing. I've got some parsley and some dill and some bunching onions planted here as well. And this is little sweet alyssum, which I just love. All right, we'll see if we can get these things, if any of these peas that I replanted decide to grow. Here's some winter sown lettuce. And these are strawberries. These were actually ones that my dad had planted that I sort of revived. And this is the rosemary bush that is just massive. Here is another salad bowl. I call it a salad bowl with some wintered over parsley and some more of that gorgeous swordleaf lettuce and other beautiful. This particular lettuce and the speckled bib wintered over. The rest were transplanted in here, and that spinach wintered over as well. Over in this bed, we have more lettuces. And I've got more Chinese cabbages coming up of various sorts and some Swiss chard. I wish I had peas coming up, but I can see that somebody's been digging around in there. And of course, I got some spinaches. And I have some sprouting bunching onions here. And an onion that just came back from last year, I think. Over here, we have some elephant garlic. And we have some more spinach and some more Chinese cabbage. It's called Tokyo Bicata, I think it's called. And I can't believe this, but we're starting to get asparagus. And I'm gonna pick some right now. Look at this. Ugh. I'm actually gonna put this in a salad, steam it and put it in a salad tonight. Here's some little lettuces waiting to get planted out. So thank you so much for coming on my garden tour with me today. I hope you enjoyed the look around, and I hope your garden's doing really well. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.